Welcome to NFP Ocean's Meet the Member series. In this video, our founder, Kerrie Sheaves, is talking to David Leahy from Great People Inside Australia.
Hi, David. Great to see you today.
Hi, Kerrie. Great to see you too.
So today we're going to be talking about the challenges that organisations have when they're trying to hire and promote and grow people in their organisation. So let's launch straight into it. Your organisation specialises in this as an issue and how to solve it. But firstly, what is psychometric testing and how does it help leaders make decisions about their people?
Great, thanks, Kerrie. Yes, so psychometric testing is in essence a tool developed by psychologists to assess attributes of people against normings in the population. And the original psychometric assessment that everybody is probably familiar with is the Myers-Briggs, which was developed by a mother and daughter in America I think in the early 30s, where there had been some situations where the daughter didn't quite meet the right person for marriage, and they decided to come up with a system to assess that, and that has evolved over the years. And nowadays, psychometric assessments are tools that are used by organizations to help them identify top talent by measuring potential candidates against specific normings and specific profiles that would be suitable to help identify if they're suitable for a particular role.
Fantastic. So in the not-for-profit context, there are lots of different roles that organisations need to find people for. There are the paid positions, people who are working at the coalface, helping people. There are people who are working behind the scenes and leading and doing strategy. And then you've also got your boards. And of course, I've seen in the context of boards using services like Great People Inside to help determine who might be a suitable board member for an organisation beyond just their skills. So tell me a little bit about how that process works in the context of using it in the hiring of staff and volunteers.
Yeah. Most people are familiar with psychometric assessments and they've used them or experienced them at some stage during their career. Traditional psychometric assessments are fixed. So what is being assessed and what is being measured is determined by the test provider. What's unique about the service that we offer is that our tools are customizable. So it's possible for us to assess every single role from entry level through to the boardroom with an assessment that is relevant and suitable for that particular role. And the benefit of that is that whether you're looking to identify a volunteer or whether you're looking to identify a board member, you can have a tool that assesses precisely what you're looking for and not be limited by what the test provider is suggesting. So that's really the tool. In terms of how it works, we work on the principle of a job profile or job fit. So we assess a candidate, internal or external, identify what the attributes are for a particular role, and then measure people against that particular profile. And so this allows companies to get great insights into the attributes of the person that they're looking to hire or promote. I think one of the challenges that I see today in the way companies go about hiring is they use what I call traditional methods. So they usually determine a person's suitability based on resumes or based on gut feel. And that's how they make their decisions about whether they like somebody to come into an organization or not. They make hiring decisions and promotion decisions based on like. And we've all had experience of that where we've decided that we're going to recruit somebody based on their resume. And as we know, resumes nowadays can be written by AI and it's not even written by the person who submitted it. And so what our tool allows you to do is to see beyond that and to determine very easily whether a person is suitable for a particular role, regardless of the level within the organization that they're applying for. We have a philosophy that we think everybody should love their job. And it sounds like we're saying, well, it sounds like an exclusionary tactic, saying we'll use an assessment to exclude people, but actually no, we're using assessments to include people, because making decisions based on resumes that don't make sense, or making decisions based on gut feel, is almost doing a disservice to the person, because you need to help them understand if they're going to fit the role and fit what you're looking for your particular company. And so this tool, people we work with tell us, they can't live without it now, and they have a 75% increase. Our studies show a 75% increase in hiring success using some data to make decisions, as opposed to making decisions based on what you think or what you feel. And so adding data into that process will give you those sort of success rates.
I think that's a really important point. We've all had instances where we've made a bad hire, that we've brought someone in and we've thought, look, I think they're going to fit and they're good people and they look good on paper. And then 3 months later, we're thinking, what happened? How did I get this so very wrong? They're still a nice person, they're still good on paper, but just their personality, their attributes, the things that they're bringing to the table don't fit with our culture, even though we thought they were going to. They're not capable of doing the things we thought they were going to be doing. Their commitment might be lacking. There's any number of things which just weren't evident in those first couple of interviews and the paper that we were assessing them on. So having more information which is based on scientific research about actually evaluating what really actually works in the context of different types of roles and what those roles need to be capable of performing at is really important. And I think in the context of not-for-profit organisations, and in particular when you're bringing on board paid staff, you simply can't afford to make those kinds of mistakes, because A, it's really hard to get people out of your organisation, but B, the damage it can do to your organisation and all the existing staff when you've got the wrong person in the wrong role, and of course you've now run out of money trying to hire someone else, is really quite a deal breaker for many. I've seen it certainly in the case of board recruitment. We often go down the road in the boards of looking at people who have certain skills. They're a lawyer, they're an accountant, they're IT person, or they're a marketer. And yes, those skills are really important, but you really need a board to be all running at the same level of capability, especially if you're moving towards more of a governance and strategic board versus a doing board. So things like these psychometric assessment tools are there to help understand whether someone actually will fit or not into what you're looking for. But what does it cost? Because this is, of course, the NFP space. We don't have money to burn. What kind of budget, what type of options are there when it comes to using psychometric assessments? And for example, from GPI's point of view, what type of model of funding would I need if I wanted to go down this track to use a service like yours?
So everything that we do at Great People Inside is designed to be flexible and to suit the client. So we don't believe in clients adapting to systems, but we believe in systems adapting to clients. And so, like I've said, our assessments being customizable allows you to design exactly, the platform does it for you, allows you to design exactly what you need. The job profiling and job matching element allows you to match a job precisely to what you're looking for within your organization, and whether that, as I said, be entry level or board level. And then when it comes to even the reports that you're given, they again are flexible, so they're very easy to read and easy to understand. And so from a pricing perspective, we also look for flexibility. So we have introduced a subscription model where we offer 1 month, 3 month, 6 month and 12 month subscription options, where you can jump in and out of a pricing model to suit your budget. And it's very much like your Netflix subscription. You can really determine which subscription suits your needs. So if you're going to be hiring for a month, you decide, let's have a month subscription, and you can test as many people as you wish during that period. So you can test every single applicant. There's no limits on we call it no limit actually, there's no limit on the number of assessments you can do. And so subscriptions start for somewhere in the order of $200 a month, so they're very cost effective and very suitable for an NFP that may not want to have a particular tool that they're plugged into for a 12-month or 2-year period.
That's great. And I think that having some flexible pricing models is important, because I do find that quite often a lot of the tools that are out there are either really, really expensive and you need 100 people in your organization to make it work, and they're feature rich, which is fine, or you've got very, very basic, kind of at that bottom end sort of disc sort of market where it's not cheap, but it's not necessarily giving you that full suite of service that you need.
Yeah.
So it's really only giving you half the picture to be able to make a good decision on.
Yeah, and it's a good point you make, because so what we actually assess within our assessments, we measure cognitive ability. We measure behavioural traits and competencies, and we measure things that people like doing, what their interests are. So, and that's very helpful for NFPs, particularly if they're looking to have people that are aligned to their organisation's values and their mission. These tools will give you great insights into whether people are naturally inclined to help others, for example. And this is a very key insight. And we measure 13 different values. So again, within an assessment, we can include a particular value that's relevant to value or values that are relevant to an organization. And it's really providing you with that extra 30 or 40% of information to help you make an informed people decision, no matter what sort of people decision you have to make, whether that be a hiring or a succession planning decision or a board position that you're looking to fill.
You mentioned succession then. So obviously in the hiring point of view for volunteers and staff, it's definitely worth using data to help you make those decisions. But what we often see in not just the not-for-profit sector, but more broadly, obviously, in all businesses, is that succession and advancement often happens because of tenure. Well, they've been here the longest, they're therefore promoted to manager. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the person who's either the best technician or been in the chair longest is actually the right fit for a role of management or leadership or whatever role that might look like. So I assume that the use of psychometric testing can assist in evaluating your internal staff to determine what their potential is within your organisation for other roles as well. Would that be true?
That's correct. Yeah. So the system works on the basis of the principle of job match or role match. And so what that means is we assess a role to define what success looks like, and that's by measuring your internal candidates or employees or volunteers who are doing a particular role, or board member who's doing a particular role. And so once we do that, we develop a job profile, and you can then measure and assess potential applicants or potential people you're looking to promote against that particular benchmark or profile to ensure that that they match. And what it usually, in reality, what we find it throws up is that a person may have certain attributes that are very suitable, but they might have some development areas that, with a little bit of coaching and support, they can be helped to self-manage. We can't change people's attributes, but we can help people heighten their awareness about certain behaviors that may not be working for them as effectively as they should be. We heighten their awareness to help them to self-manage that. And our tools actually give particular suggestions around how you should self-manage those particular elements yourself, or if you're a manager and you're looking to support and coach or develop a person, or you're looking to promote them, you can use the tool to and the insights and the suggestions within the tool to coach and develop that person to overcome and self-manage those particular areas that they may be getting in their way.
That's great, because I think, for most organisations, it's hard to find people who want to work in the not-for-profit sector when it's not probably paying the highest rates, for the same jobs. But secondly, they're often there because they do care about the mission. First and foremost, that's one of the key reasons they've joined that organisation. So performance management versus personal development plans is really something that I think, NFPs need to embrace, is the ability to create personal development plans for their staff using data, not just, oh, I've observed you doing this or I've observed you doing that, because it can be highly emotive when it's looked at from, well, I've noticed this, or this is, not working for us because of X and Y. Yes, that's important, but if there's also some data that assists in that individual understanding things that they may be lacking in, or overplayed strengths, or whatever that might look like for them, to support then that development as well, that I think is a really powerful tool. So today, the information that we've got around psychometric assessment and the power that it can have in a not-for-profit organisation, and in its hiring and in its succession planning, is really important. Thanks, Dave, for sharing with us on this topic. If you want to find out more information about Great People Inside and connect with Dave, then jump on our platform and he'll be happy to connect with you and talk about your not-for-profit.
Great, thanks, Kerrie. Thank you for the invitation to speak with NFP.
Excellent. Have a great day.
You can find out more information about Great People Inside Australia and the resources and services you need to grow your NFP at www.nfpocean.com. NFPs can join us for free.